Good morning. Today we are going to be doing a pre-trip video on truck 770. We're going to start by popping open the hood and checking the oil and all the fluids. Do that, you're going to open the driver door. You're going to see down here, there's a latch. You just pull that latch, pop it. Okay. You're going to come around to the hood. This one opens up the grill too. So be careful not to reef on this because it's already cracked. So do it gently. But I can do it with one hand. Just pop it open. Down here, there's going to be a latch. I don't know if you can see that, but it's right there. You push that to the right while simultaneously pushing up. And it opens up the hood. Inside, you should see some stickers on the hood itself. Currently, this one doesn't have any on it, but those stickers will tell you what oil goes in here, what transmission fluid, how many quarts it takes, and anything you should possibly need to know about this truck. You're going to start, I guess we'll do left to right. So we're going to check our battery terminals. Make sure those are all tight and nothing's really corroded and all that good stuff. Right here's your washer fluid. Check that. Pop it open, take a peek inside. You should see some washer fluid. If by any means you don't, you should top it off. You can do that at any gas station you stop at. They should have some fluid. Always make sure this lid is on here, because if you don't, you're going to corrode a bunch of fuses and your truck's not going to run properly. Over here, you'll see your coolant. There's a max and min range right here. You're going to want that filled to about right in the middle of that. It can be in the max, but it's preferred to be in the middle. If you can't see it for some reason, always make sure your truck is off and cold before you pop this open, because it can spray out and you could get burnt. This is your brake fluid. Same thing. You're going to see max and min. You always want to make sure that's topped off, or else you're not going to be able to stop. And then down here, you're going to see your oil fill. See, this one takes 5W30. Okay. Down here, you'll see a yellow ring. That's where you check your oil. Do that. I gotta climb up on the bumper. Don't do what I do. Oh. But you see right there it is. I'm kind of holding this by myself, so wish me luck. But if you can't break the seal for some reason, just give it a little twist and then pull, because that'll help loosen it up. But pull it out, wipe it off. You always want to wipe it off the first time, because if it's already been ran, you're not going to get the right reading. Then you're going to put it back in, push it all the way back down, pull it back out, and right there is where it's at. Right now, it's a little bit over full. Where you'd want it is in between those two holes. That's your safe zone. On the other side, there might be a hash. You can kind of barely see it. But in between those two holes is where you want it. Put that back in there. This thing has a sealed transmission, which means you cannot check the transmission fluid. From here, you can also see your belt, your fan belt, which is a little hard to see because it's way down deep in there. But in there is your serpentine belt. You're just going to want to take a quick peek at that, make sure it's not worn or damaged. If it is, you can get that replaced at a local repair shop. Next, we'll check the tires, the springs, all that good stuff. To do that, you're just going to want to make sure you have some tread on your tire. You should be able to stick your finger in there. If you can and it comes about halfway up your finger, you have enough tread. You're always going to want to check your lug nuts too. This one has a fancy hubcap, so you can't really do that on this tire. Take a peek inside, make sure your spring isn't cracked or damaged. always take a look behind the tire. It's always helpful to turn the tire out to see this, but for purposes, if you look down in there, down on the bottom of the rim, if you ever see any oil dripping down the rim, that means your axle seal is broke, and you got to get that replaced, or else your tire is not gonna, it's gonna come off. Just take a look at everything, make sure nothing's cracked or broken. You never want issues going down the road. If you ever for some reason have to refill your tire pressure rating is right there. We tend to put these on all the trucks. If not, you can always look at the tire itself, and it'll tell you how much air to put in it. It's usually in like one of these smaller writings. See, a little bit of time, we'll move on to the back because the fronts are going to be the same and the backs are going to be the same. Same thing. Check your tire tread. If you can stick your finger in there and it comes about halfway up your finger, well, not halfway up, well, your fingertip. That should be enough tread. Check your lug nuts, make sure the tires are hard. Don't be afraid to kick it, it's not going to break. Your leaf springs are these things down here. You always want to make sure those things aren't cracked or damaged because that's your rear suspension. Make sure your shocks aren't leaking oil. You'll see it, this thing will be covered in oil if it is. Just check everything out in here, make sure nothing's dangling or in the way of the tire. You should be good. Always check for a spare tire in case you need it. That's a good thing to have. Next, we'll move on to lights. Just close the hood. So, your key should be in here somewhere. Up here on the visor. Normally, we stick our keys in the job boxes, but these ones don't lock. So it is alright if you stick it in your gas cap at the end of the day. Always make sure this has a cap, but this one's an easy fill, so you don't gotta worry about that. You can stick it in your gas cap, put it over your visor. We try not to leave keys in the trucks because they magically get locked inside of them. So if you're ever running this truck with a spray crew, at the end of the day, give your key to the spray truck driver and they'll put it in their job box. I'll fire this thing up. Runs like a dream. See, check your gauges, make sure they're operating properly. That tire pressure light has nothing to do with this truck. There are no more tire pressure sensors. They've all been changed and all that good stuff. Your beacon switch right here. We'll flip that on. Also turn our headlights on so we can check the lights and whatnot. So right now our running lights and our low beam should be on. So that. Yep. So our low beams, our running lights, and our beacon lights are on. So we're going to go back in. It's easier to do this with another person, but for today I'm running solo. So this is going to take me a little bit longer than it's going to take you. So bear with me. Right now our left signal's on. We'll run around to the back. Check as well. And run in the circles a lot. So our back signal is on. Our running lights are on the right side. Always want to make sure your license plate lights are working too, because that's also a violation. This one seems to be good. Turn our rights, roll down the window. There's our right. Stop. And right signal is working. Reverse and brake are a little bit harder to check by yourself. Sometimes you can put a hammer or something on the brake to check the brake lights, but in order to do reverse, you could pull the parking brake and check it that way. We'll do it just for demonstration purposes. So your parking brake is right here. You push that down so you can't, and to check to see if that works, you're just going to put it in gear. We'll do reverse just for these purposes. Now, this truck should not move. You're not going to hit the gas or anything like that. You're just going to take your foot off the brake. This truck is not moving, so that means this parking brake works. And if you look on the dash, it'll yell at you and tell you that your parking brake is off with that little light. Now, with any luck, the reverse lights are on. Look at that. They work. Perfect. Always make sure you put your truck back in park to avoid, the truck running away on you. And then to release the parking brake, there's this lever right here that says brake. Just gonna pull that, you're gonna hear a clunk, and that means it's disengaged. So again, if you have anything to put on the brake pedal, I don't at this moment, so I currently cannot check the brake lights, but I'm assuming they're working. Let's see what we're missing. Marker lights, turn signals, brake reverse, caution, safety beacon, mirrors. Check your mirrors, make sure they're not cracked and damaged. This one is good old manual, so make sure you adjust these so you can see out your mirrors. It's always a good thing to do. Same thing with that mirror. Since we have a back windshield, they might look at that, and if that's damaged in any way, you could get a ticket. Windshield, make sure there are no cracks in the driver's view. It's not exactly ideal if you have a crack over there, and they might not ding you for that, but it still should be reported if it's over there. But typically, I believe it's 6 inches or something like that in the driver's view. That's a problem. So while we're here, we'll check the wipers. Here you'll see your little wiper gauge that controls the speed of how fast you want your wipers to work. And then this button on the end is your washer fluid. That works. It's kind of hard to see because of the sun and whatnot. There we go. There we go. Yeah. The wiper or washer fluid was in fact working. Let's see, heater defrost. Right here is your control panel for all your heater stuff. You might be able to hear it. But you want to make sure those are working in case, if it's for whatever reason cold outside and you can't see, it's ideal to have that working. This truck is too light to have triangles and a fire extinguisher in it, so you don't got to worry about that with this one. Speaking of that, your height is always right here on the dash. Okay? So you don't go running under any bridges. That's bad. And your weight is on this little sticker in here. See, it'll say, let's see, where is it? Right here, GVWR. That's how much this truck weighs, 7,050 pounds. Okay. Let's see. That's cool. So we did all this while we were checking the front end. Lights we all went through. Windshield, wipers, horn. Just give that a beep. That works. Parking brake, heater, defrost, gauges we checked. Seat belts. Always want to make sure you're wearing your seatbelt. This can save your life. Just put that in. If it clicks, great. Tug on it. It shouldn't come out. Great. I did not see any oil leaks while we were in there. It's never a bad idea to crawl under the truck and see if you can find any. And if your truck does leak, please make sure you check your truck every time before you start it. If you are about to get in your truck, check the oil to make sure that you are not running low on oil, because if you blow this motor, our fearless leader will be very upset. As you can hear, the truck isn't really making a whole lot of noise. It's hardly making any. It sounds pretty good. Rear suspension checked. All of that is okay. These are your driver items. Make sure you have your driver's license, proper license for this vehicle, which would be a Class D. I mean, just a normal driver's license, whatever you get when you turned 18, that's what you can use. Your med card, that is for commercial purposes, but you need that when you're in any of our chase vehicles. Proper PPE, safety glasses, gloves, hard hat, vest, a reflective vest if you need it. This truck does not need a toolbox because it's not heavy enough. We normally put those in our spray vehicles. Make sure you get a good night's sleep. Brakes adjusted or self-adjusting. All of our trucks do that. You don't gotta worry about that. And please make sure you're not on your cell phone while driving. Always wear your seatbelt. And if you come to a DOT checkpoint, or if you see an officer that points to the side of the road, please stop for them because they want to check your truck out. And if you run from them, that's not good either. Alrighty, that should conclude this video.